In today's special deep dive, we step into the kind of moment that freezes a studio, sets timelines ablaze, and pulls a long-buried chapter back into the light. You're here because you crave the truth tucked between the cameras and the cutaways, so make sure you're subscribed to Secrets Behind the Stars, tap join if you want to go even deeper with us, and hit like if you know that sometimes a quiet gesture can shake the world more than any speech. Ready? Let's lift the curtain. What started as an offhand dare from a late-night host turned into live television that felt less like a segment and more like a heartbeat. The set had its usual pulse, steady, practiced, all cues and countdowns, until the second Alp Navruz stood, buttoned his jacket as if making a promise, and walked toward the piano. The lights over the music corner weren't dramatic, they were simple, warm, a muted wash meant for harmless entertainment. But the air shifted anyway. Something in his measured pace suggested he wasn't performing for applause. He lowered himself onto the bench with a careful grace, letting his hands linger above the keys the way one hovers over an old photograph before touching it. He didn't speak right away. He just breathed. Not the theatrical inhale of a showman, but the slow, grounding breath of someone bracing to share something delicate and real. When he finally broke the hush, his voice carried a soft ache, the kind that belongs to memories that refuse to be boxed away. "This is for you, Alina," he said, looking neither at the cameras nor the audience, but somewhere quieter. Our directions changed. What I felt didn't. It sounded nothing like a stunt. It sounded like truth finding the courage to walk into the room. The words rang through the studio like a glass gently tapped by a spoon, subtle, unmistakable. A cameraman later confessed his forearms tightened so hard the shot wobbled, and he had to steady his breath to keep focus. The host, famous for clever one-liners and rapid-fire jokes, turned into a statue, lips parted, eyes wide, as though he'd stumbled upon a confession not meant for him. The crowd went soundless. Even the faint scrape of the bench against the floor landed louder than a cheer. The song Alp chose wasn't random. It was the kind of ballad you save for histories that still hum even when no one's listening, about promises that never found a landing place, about rooms that still carry a scent after someone leaves. When he reached the line about a door left half open for a return that never came, his voice thinned at the edges, barely, but enough for anyone who has loved against time to recognize the tremor. It passed in a breath, a flicker. But once you heard it, you didn't forget. Comments erupted before the second verse ended. Live chats filled with declarations typed at top speed. "He hasn't let go. Send this to Alina now." They're written in the same ink. By the time the applause finally came, it felt late, like a train that needed a minute to catch up to a heart already far down the track. The broadcast wound down, the credits rolled, the studio lights softened. Nobody anticipated the aftershock. Exactly 12 minutes after the show cut to black, Alina Boz posted to Instagram. No elaborate caption, no curated montage, no PR varnish. A black and white photo, clean, quiet, almost meditative, and only 2 words beneath it, "I heard." 2 syllables that turned music into a message. 2 words that tugged a sealed envelope open. 2 words that took nostalgia by the wrist and guided it gently toward the present. Morning television scrambled for meaning. An actress close to Alina, carefully choosing each word as if stepping on stones over a river, said softly, she didn't see it coming. She watched live. She cried. Not from sorrow. Something familiar came back, warm, old, tender. Another friend painted the night in detail, the replay button tapped again and again, hands unsteady, breath catching at the same moments. They said Alina described it like turning the key to a diary she promised not to reopen. The past didn't shout, it whispered. And that's sometimes louder. Their history has always fascinated people not because of scandal, but because of how unlike scandal it felt. Their connection was intense yet gentle, bright, but thin-skinned beneath the glare of back-to-back shoots, overlapping flights, and the constant pulse of attention. They never dismantled what they were for headlines. They didn't perform the postscript. They just drifted, 2 orbits widening, still warm, still respectful. Respect can be noble. It doesn't erase feeling. Online, a wave of memories gathered and broke. Fan accounts dragged old footage to the surface, the in-between moments, the unguarded laughter, a hand brushing a sleeve without thinking, the kind of look that makes you wonder where acting stops. Edits appeared overnight that stitched Alp's piano dedication to years of behind-the-scenes warmth. One of them passed 1 million views in a day. It wasn't simply a look back. It was a chorus hoping, almost praying, for a story paused rather than concluded. Days later, Alina was seen at a small cafe on a side street where the city's noise softens into a murmur. Long coat. A notebook slipped under her arm. Her movements careful, as if not to startle the thoughts circling her. Observers noticed a ring, simple silver, engraving tucked on the inside, meant to touch skin rather than catch light. The same ring Alp gave her on their 3rd anniversary. Its quiet reappearance said what interviews try and fail to say. Soon after, she stepped onto a gala carpet, calm and immaculate. Reporters were poised, hungry, but hesitant, sensing this wasn't a moment to chase, but to invite. Alina obliged them with a single line that balanced closure and opening in equal measure. "Sometimes music finishes a conversation that words leave hanging," she said, soft but sure. "I heard it. And it reached me. Nothing more. Nothing less." She didn't need the rest. Meanwhile, lenses found Alp late at night outside a recording studio, shoulders relaxed, fatigue and relief folded into the same small smile. He swung his jacket over one shoulder, paused when someone asked if he was working on something tied to Alina, and let the corner of his mouth lift. "Some stories deserve a different ending than the one we gave them," he answered. A handful of syllables, and the ground shook again. There's no press release. No staged reunion. No glossy explanation crafted to fit a narrative arc. But the space between them, the one so many assumed had hardened into a wall, feels thinner now, like fabric worn soft by time and touch. Maybe this is the quiet start of another chapter. Maybe it's a final page turned carefully, paired with a melody that lingers even after the book closes. Either way, it began with a piano, a dedication shaped like a confession, and a reply pared down to 2 words. Perhaps that's why people care so fiercely. The grand fireworks are easy to spot. What breaks us open are the soft things played for one person who, against the odds, happens to be listening. Do you think this is the first spark of a return, or a loving farewell that needed music to be complete? Tell us below. And while you're here, which stars should we explore next on Secrets Behind the Stars? Your suggestions shape what we uncover. If this journey pulled at your heart, don't forget, like the video. Subscribe to Secrets Behind the Stars. Become a channel member with Join if you want to support our work even more. Drop your thoughts in the comments, we read every single one. Until our next story, this has been Secrets Behind the Stars, where the truth doesn't hide between the notes. Tonight it played them.